All right. So people are actually still the view. We're not admitting them in yet. All right. So this is gonna be live stream to YouTube too. No? All right. Gonna live stream to YouTube.
Super.
And then record it on Zoom for my membership.
For your show.
Yep. Yeah. So the people that are in my membership are in the audience, but we're also, like you said, you posted it on social media so people can come and join with the YouTube channel as well. So the top, so those are the top 3 to 5 questions. And then I'll pop in, why, most of the thing is, why do I have ED? Is ED reversible or not? Why do I have ED? Most of the time is why. And what is ED? Most guys go, I don't have ED. It's like, oh yeah, you have ED. Yeah, I don't have ED. It just take me an hour to get an erection. Yeah. And why ED is common. Okay. I'm gonna reiterate the data from the Massachusetts study. Like 40% with 40, 50% 50-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, right. And that ED is actually guess who has heart problem? Bao has heart problem.
Oh, Bao, what's going on?
He's actually
kind of lost there, honey.
frozen right now.
There you go.
Okay, was I frozen?
Yeah.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't that weird? Okay, Franz, let me admit the people in. All right, we're getting audience joining in. All right. Let me know we are live on Zoom, Franz. Let me know when we are live on.
We are live on YouTube.
Everyone, Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session of the Q&A with myself. I'm streaming on. Apologize if it doesn't go well. We have some tech glitches we already did when we first started, and I was kicked out of Zoom. And now I'm back in again. But Susan, can you introduce yourself now?
Yeah, hi everyone. It's great to be here, and I love to do things with Anne. She's such a doll. My name is Susan Bratton. I'm an intimacy expert to millions, and I essentially run two companies. The first company is a company called Personal Life Media, and I publish my own and others' passionate lovemaking techniques, bedroom communication skills, and sexual health and regenerative therapy information. And the second company that I am the CEO of is called The 20. And The 20, it's kind of named after the 80-20 rule, that 20% of what you're doing is what's really getting the results, and the other 80% is wasted effort. And it's a supplement company for sexual vitality supplements. We have a nitric oxide supplement, which is called Flow, which helps with erectile function. And we have a daily vitamin mineral complex called Desire. That is a daily, kind of a one a day with libido botanicals built right in. And Anne and I have done her podcast together in the past. And some of my areas of expertise are sexual regenerative treatments to reverse atrophy and the shrinkage of age, erectile dysfunction, penis enlargement, and how to do that as well. Also reversing vaginal atrophy for your wives and girlfriends. And I'm looking forward today to talk about that, as well as some new information about the clitoris that's just come out. That's quite interesting, because obviously we're here to talk about men's health, but it's also good to understand our women's anatomy so that you can find your way around and pleasure it even better. So I'm happy to be here and looking forward to taking your questions and filling you in on some things that I've been doing.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here. I love collaborating with Susan because she comes from the other side, I come from the medical side, and we just merge together and give you guys just full of good information. And so feel free to those that are on Zoom, feel free to put your question in the chat. Only we will see it. And if you're watching on YouTube, please put some comment and we'll address that as well. We have somebody that's monitoring the comment, and that will be relayed to me through Fran. So today we're going to do a little bit of education, and we're going to be answering the most common question that she and I get, because I treat men with ED from the medical side, and how to address the medical issues that contribute to ED, so that way they can have functional restoration again. And that's a passion of mine, because I feel that simple little things can actually go a long way instead of complex things. Sometimes it's not a gadget. Sometimes it's just not a one answer treatment or gadget that you're looking for that will bring your performance back again. It's really a journey. And what I see at erectile, when you start seeing that you're not as performing as well as you're used to, it's actually ED, because ED expands the whole spectrum of taking longer to get firm, all the way to not getting firm enough, and all the way to not getting erection at all. And that's considered ED, because ED definition is not be able to form to your satisfaction. And most people think, well, if I have erection, I don't have ED. No, that's not quite the case. But also, when you start noticing that you're not having the usual normal amount of erection at night or in the morning like you normally do, or you're not as firm, do something about it then. and do the right thing, not just pop in the medication like a Viagra or Cialis, because that's just covering up the problem, making the problem worse. Because ED for a man is a reflection of your general health, and it's a reflection of your heart health, because it works almost the same way as in your heart, because when you have ED, it's due to decreased blood flow. And when you have decreased blood flow, it's because you're having inflammation that's affecting your blood vessels, that is preventing adequate blood flow, down there. And then the reason why it affects the penis first is because the penis blood vessels are small, the smallest in the body, and it's about 1 to 2 millimeter. And then once it affects the penis, it's going to go to your heart, because your heart is 3 to 4 millimeter in size. So affect the smallest blood vessel first, and the one that's farthest away from your heart. Believe it or not, when your heart pumps the blood, it gives itself, and it gives the brain. You get blood, and then it gives the lungs, and then it gives the liver, the kidneys, and your intestine. And guess what's last? Your manhood is the last one that gets the blood flow. So it's farther away from the heart, and so therefore it's not getting the first oxygenation or oxygen per se. And that's what Susan was talking about earlier when she was showing you the nitrous oxide supplement. Nitrous oxide is important because nitrous oxide really come from L-citrulline, which needs oxygen, by the way, to convert to nitrous oxide. Then nitrous oxide relaxes smooth muscle, and when the smooth muscle is relaxed, and that's what the penis muscle is. The penis muscle is made out of smooth muscle. It's not skeletal muscle like your biceps or your tricep. Those are voluntary muscle. So the muscle and down your penis is actually made out of smooth muscle, which is involuntary, but it's controlled by the nervous system that is either the parasympathetic or the sympathetic. So the point I'm trying to get at is that not a lot of men know is that in order for you to get an erection, the muscle in your penis has to be relaxed. It has to be relaxed first in order for you to fill it up. But if the muscle is not relaxed, let's say if you're stressed or you're not sleeping well or you're distracted, if it's not relaxed, it's not going to be able to fill up. So and being relaxed, it's being in the parasympathetic state. And the parasympathetic state is what they call the breathe and relaxed state, where you're only in that state when you're not in an emergency, when you're not stressed. The sympathetic state is the other state that you're stressed and you're in an emergency, trying to get away from a threat. So having said that, that's a preface about, hey, we're talking about, ED and what it involve. And so some of the questions that we get, commonly is what I addressed earlier was what is ED? We all think we know what ED is. What ED is, it's a whole spectrum. You can still get an erection, still have ED. And so Susan, what are some of the common questions you normally get from men?
Well, interestingly, the most common questions that I get are, is shockwave a safe modality to use? And how does it compare to the handheld home devices that you see on eBay or the Phoenix or what have you? That's number one. And the answer is shockwave is very safe to use, really excellent. I recommend it much more than I recommend home devices, which are much more low power. They take a lot of time. Where the shockwave treatments can really knock the plaque off of the blood supply system and stimulate new tissue growth. So I'm a real proponent of them, and I encourage men to get them, not even when they have erectile dysfunction, but even as they're aging in their 40s and 50s. If they're what I've noticed is that losing your firmness is kind of this slow decline for a lot of men, where when you see their penis, you look at it and think, that's not a very hard penis. And he's still thinking he's getting hard, but he's not getting as hard as he used to. He just forgets how hard he used to be. And so some preventative shockwave therapy is very beneficial for men in their late 40s and early 50s, because at that point, your penile tissue is already starting to atrophy with age. I mean, if you have wrinkles on your face, that's atrophy, that's desiccation. You're drying out, you're shrinking, your mitochondria aren't working as well, your systems of function in your body aren't working as well. Your penis is on that same trajectory. The other thing that's happening is that men who are in their 50s, like if by the time you're 50, you're making half the nitric oxide production you did when you were in your 20s. And that's if you're eating leafy green vegetables multiple times a day, eating beetroot every day or a few times a week, eating things like dill and cabbage and romaine and arugula and spinach and kale and chicory and chard. And most people are not eating a high leafy green vegetable diet. Not only that, but many people are using a antibacterial mouthwash, which is killing off the
Yeah,
and you put your spinning on.
yeah.
Nitric
That's
oxide.
it. Yeah, that's right. I wanted
There
to
you go.
show this. I wanted to show this. Are you guys seeing the screen? Here, the nitrous oxide.
We're
here?
seeing it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. As you were talking, I wanted to kind of, visually
Show the decline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
show the decline as you were talking about that. Men at the age of 50. If you're an average person, which is the red line here, you're about around 50% of nitrous oxide decline. It actually starts to decline after the age of 30.
Mhm.
However, what is good on here is that with poor diet and inactivity, I mean, you're not exercising, you're eating poor diet, a hamburger every day along with chips and French fries and a Coke. You actually your decline actually the slope of decline starts as early as in your 20s, and you start out low and you keep on going low. By the time you're 50, you're at about 20 percentile and the slope. So just to kind of show what you were saying, that even if you're an average, you can still have decreased. But if you exercise and have a good diet like the Mediterranean diet, it actually really doesn't start to decline until probably around 50. You see 50, you're about 85 percentile there. In this is the study that was in the Journal of Geriatric Cardiology in 2011.
Yeah, the other things that accelerate the decline of your own nitric oxide production are using antibacterial mouthwash, which kills off the bacteria in the crypts of your tongue that transform the leafy greens from nitrites to nitrates. And then your stomach acid needs to turn the nitrates into nitric oxide. And if you're taking a proton pump inhibitor, an acid blocker, etc., then that system's not working either. And essentially you have nitric oxide stores so that when you get aroused and you want to send blood flow to your pelvic bowl to fill your penis up with blood, you don't have enough for that smooth muscle tissue to relax enough to fill up with blood to lock off to give you a firm erection. So a lot of guys are thinking they're doing a great job cleaning their mouth. They're thinking they're, keeping their acid down, when it's both of those are the opposite. You don't want bad bacteria in your mouth, of course. And I know Anne wants to say something about that. But you need high stomach acid, actually. Most of the issues with these proton pump inhibitors and acid blockers are from H. pylori, a bacterial overgrowth that needs to be dealt with. And that's often where acid reflux comes from, as well as eating things like sugar, white flour, and alcohol that really depress the acid production in your stomach. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And Anne and I really try to get guys to understand that you don't want to, you can use a good mouthwash, but not an antibacterial mouthwash. You need high stomach acid, not low stomach acid. You need to deal with the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth rather than just trying to suppress it with an acid blocker, because all of these things are contributing to the natural decline of your nitric oxide. So you can take supplementation if you're over 40, as Anne said, citrulline-based nitric oxide booster, which is what my product is. And actually, friends, if you'd put in the chat window a link for me, it's Buy Flow Now, BUYFLOWNOW. That's the link I give out for my friends of friends, like friends of Dr. Ann's, because that's the place where you can get the Flow nitric oxide booster at the lowest price I sell it for. It's a very good product, and often men have found that it's best to take it at night, but it's also great to take a couple capsules before lovemaking. And many men who are currently, can you put .com on that, please, Fran, so it's clickable? Many men who begin to do nitric oxide supplementation, who have been reliant on sildenafil or other Viagra type of PDE5 inhibitors, who are taking the standard dose of 60 milligrams, can often begin to cut down that dosage because they've topped up their own nitric oxide systems. Many men can go off of Viagra, especially if you go to Ann and you get Shockwave and you get a P shot and you do things like that. But when you take Flow, you increase your nitric oxide storage. You need a lot less Viagra if you even need it at all. And you could take you can get down to like 10 milligrams. You can do micro dosing sublingually. You can chew the pill up under your tongue, and it's much more fast acting and it has less side effects. So the stuffy nose, the blurry vision, the flushing, the migraines, the post Viagra day malaise, all of those things can be circumvented or gotten rid of with boosting your nitric oxide. So it's literally one of the most, when people are like, how do I get rid of my ED? I'm like, yeah, start with nitric oxide, and then you go for your shock waves, your P shots, your penis pumps. And I do have a pump here, and I do want to talk about pumping because I am a real proponent of that as well. So, but I know we'll get to that.
So yeah, so am I. I'm a
Yeah.
big proponent of pumping, but I'm gonna actually share my screen because I wanted to show people the difference between the shockwave. So if you can see on here, can you all see that? Okay, so the machine that is on the top, right? The top with the screen is actually what they call the focus shockwave. And what it means is that it deliver sound and it deliver wave that actually goes in like a laser. So it's deep, is high intensity, and it penetrates deeper. It works more on a cellular level. The machine that is on the bottom with the blue light is the radio, kind of like radio tires, and it uses pulse energy to deliver to the tissue, but it's a different type of energy. The energy from the radio machine just goes into the tissue and kind of spread out like an umbrella, like wide and spread out. It doesn't go as deep as the focus. It goes to about 4 centimeters. The focus can actually go to as much as 6 inches. And the energy is different. It is less energy with the radio as compared to the focus. And so just know the difference between the focus and the radio. I want to say that all of the literature actually that has been put out, that shockwave that has been helpful, is really on the focus machine, which is the machine on top. And that's what the literature has been focusing on. But I know there's the literature that will be coming out from the radio machine as well. There's one that I know of that came out in April. However, it wasn't as favorable using the radio machine for the ED. So just know that if you're spending a lot of money on going to a clinic for shockwave, that you should get the one that has been written a lot about, which is the focus shockwave. And that is what's written in the literature. And I just wanted to show the difference between the two. And I also, on my YouTube channel, I also did a video on this between the difference between the two, and what's been researched about and what is still out there as well. But having said that, I'm a big proponent of pumping as well, as I was talking about earlier, was that, you need oxygen to generate nitric oxide, and coming from L-citrulline, and without oxygen, you're not going to be able to generate that nitrous oxide, and the penis muscle need the nitric oxide be produced from the nerve that actually controls the smooth muscle. So you get the parasympathetic nerve, you get the sympathetic nerve. The nerve is what releases the nitric oxide that affect the smooth muscle. At the endothelium actually is involved, but it's involved in producing the nitrous oxide, but the nerve is also involved in it as well. And I wanted to kind of show that because it's one of the reasons why I stress lifestyle modification and involved in this, because it's not just one component alone. So I'm going to share this because this is how I look at treating shockwave, treating ED, in that if you look at the diagram, I hope you can see it. It's kind of small, but it's actually a picture of a smooth muscle. It's a smooth muscle actually of the penis, and you can see the purple dot right here. That's the nerve. That's a sympathetic. That's the nerve, and you can see that the nerve is acting on the nitrous oxide, and that this is the endothelial cell, and that's actually the cell that line the blood vessels. And it needs L-arginine and oxygen, and then it generates the nitric oxide, and then the nitric oxide act with the nerve ending called the the cholinergic and the non-cholinergic to act on the smooth muscle to create smooth muscle relaxation. So there's a lot going on in that picture. But when I look at that picture, is what I look at things that need to occur in order to physiologically treat erectile dysfunction. So oxygen. So you need the oxygen, and by pumping is how you take the penis to the gym. Right? When you pump, you create this negative pressure and the negative suction, really, that help with giving you an erection. But by you just exercising the penis muscle, you're giving it more oxygen. You're exercising the muscle as if you're going to the gym and doing bicep curl. And I'll let Susan demonstrate the pump that she has and how it worked. But to me, it's like taking your penis to the gym. Because you can't voluntarily do this to your biceps, but you can use the pump as an adjunct and exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week or even daily. This is what I recommend after I treat a patient with ED after they get the P-shot, which is injection of their own blood into the penis to help with more increasing blood flow and rejuvenating the tissue again, along with the shock wave, which then also help. Really, the overall thing is increasing blood flow, but then the pump is an adjunct to that because it helps exercise the muscle and bringing in more oxygen. Do you want to show the pump that you have there?
Sure. Yeah. This is the pump system that I recommend. And it's something that's used for both reversing the atrophy of erectile dysfunction and stimulating new tissue growth, doing a small bit of micro damage like you would when you're pumping your bicep, and then it heals and recovers. And these cylinders, it's a metal hand pump with a gauge on it, so you can see the vacuum pressure. That's very important. And these cylinders come in a wide range of sizes. So they come in all kinds of different sizes, including something this large, because this particular Whopper system most of the guys that I work with, they're using it for penis enlargement. There's a lot more men that are pumping for penis enlargement than for ED, because it spans such a wide age range. And men who are, it's interesting, it's all over the map. Some men who are, 2, 3, 4 inches in length, penile size, they want to make themselves bigger. 6 inches, they want to get to 7. And then there's a whole category of guys with very large penises, 7, 8-inch penises, sometimes even larger, who want to get even bigger. Then there's guys who are pretty happy with the length, but they want more girth. There are guys who have used a constriction device and compressed the tissue and they want to repair it. There are guys who have a very, very loose and small base to their penis, and the rest of their penis is larger, and they're worried about having injury to it because it's not strong enough at the base, which pumps are very good at. This particular large cylinder, the reason this pump is called the Whopper is that it's actually a 2-cylinder system. And this is the pump, this is the cylinder for your penis. And so there's different sizes depending on the girth of your penis, as not really the length because they're long enough, but it's really about the girth and overall dimension of your penis. And then there's this one, which is the larger cylinder. This happens to be a 3.5. There's a 3 that comes as the standard. Your penis and your testicles both go inside here. So you're putting this under your testicles, around your perineum and around your abdomen. And what that does is it pulls on what's called the suspensory ligament. Let me show you what I mean here. So this is a picture of the urogenital system, the male urogenital system. Here's the bladder, the prostate. Here's the penis with the 3 erectile tissue chambers, the 2 corpus cavernosum and the single corpus spongiosum tissue chambers. And of course, about 50% of your penis, approximately, everyone's different, is out of your body, but 50% of your penis goes in and down. I call it the buried shaft. And all of this needs to be strong and have good blood flow. And then there's, of course, the testicles. And this yellow piece right here is called the suspensory ligament. And when you put your penis and your testicles in the larger tube, it actually allows that suspensory ligament to it tugs on it and it lengthens it very slowly over time. It's kind of like yoga for that ligament. It becomes more flexible and it stretches, which gives your penis more drop. A lot of penis enlargement surgeries cut that ligament and then you're down, but you need that ligament because that ligament is the thing that gives you the erection. It's the erector, if you will. It lifts you up. So slowly over time, putting it at a pump and pulling on it gives you more length. And then the vacuum in these pumps gives you more girth. It's a lot easier to increase the girth of your penis than the length, but the Whopper system does the combination of both. Then there, and I don't have, do I have it
How
right
do you
here?
spell that? Whopper? Like
Yeah, if you go to-
WHOOPPR?
Yeah, if you,
Yeah.
Franz, if you want to put in pumpswork.com, pumpswork.com, that'll help guys find it. And I was looking for my penile extender. Hang on. This is another product that is a penile extender that you can add on when you're pumping. If you want more length, this is a traction device. It comes with different length rods. It's silicone. It's very comfortable. You wear it about a half an hour and then you have to take it off. You can't keep it on for long periods of time, but you can wear it more than 1 half-hour segment a day. And this combined with the pumping increases the length even more. And the basic pumping routine is every other day or as best you can do. And the first thing that you do is you don't need an erection. You put your penis in the small pump, you pump it up, leave it for 10 minutes at the specific vacuum settings that you're given in the protocol. And the protocols for the pumping are at, if you could put this, Franz, pumpingguide.com. pumpingguide.com. That's where I have the protocols for ED pumping, for enlargement pumping, for extra length, for pumping when you're getting shockwave, for pumping when you're getting PRP, etc. So there's all different pumping strategies. So the pump definitely helps with erectile dysfunction, reversing erectile dysfunction. It works in concert with the shockwave and the PRP. And that is very, very helpful. And then the pumping can also be used with enlargement. It's basically a 10-minute pump, massage your penis, 10-minute pump with the other cylinder, and then use a lasso or a constriction ring or a leather strap to trap the blood in after pumping. You pump it up and you trap the blood in at the end for about a half an hour and then let it out. And it's recommended not to ejaculate for at least a couple of hours afterward, because remember what you're doing is you're increasing the blood carrying capacity of this erectile tissue. You're pumping it fuller than it can get on its own. So when you pump it fuller, you want to hold that pump for a half an hour. If you ejaculate, it goes whoosh and all the blood comes out. So you're reversing the benefits you just created if you ejaculate. So though I can answer other questions, but really everything is in the pumping guide, including the traction device, a red light sleeve, which cylinders, how to measure your penis, the pumping protocols. It's all in there. So, and it's in my second edition, which I've just released. I've had over 30,000 copies of that guide downloaded. So it's, I've really helped thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of men have excellent effect with the penis pump. The vacuum erection device is what it's called.
Right. I recommend it as an adjunct to what I do almost every day. And my patient hears me saying that, are you doing your pumping, because that it brings oxygen. And oxygen's important. Oxygen is important for repair. Oxygen is in your blood. It's a river of life. And that, if you can't get an erection, if you do pumping, your muscle's gonna be able to get the feeling what it's like to get an erection, right? Yes. And the saying is, you don't use it, you lose it. And if you're not able to get an erection, and if you're not getting a morning erection or nighttime erection, the average number of time a man normally get an erection between 3 to 6 times a night, 3 to 6 times a night. And the average duration of a nighttime or morning erection is about 10 minutes to sometimes even 30 minutes. So you're thinking about this. Let's say you're getting 6 times in a 10-minute is an hour exercises that you get naturally when you're sleeping. When you're younger, when you're virile, and when you're healthy, you're getting about an hour of exercise in your penis, go up, down, up, down, up and down. And when you're not getting that, you're losing that exercise, which is bringing in the blood flow to the penis muscle, stretching the penis muscle, making it more elastic, and making it get used to what the filling pressure. And so when you don't have that, what happened? The muscle become more fibrous, meaning not as elastic, and the muscle cells shrink. So a lot of men I treat with ED, they said that their erection is not as good as not as long or as the girth as it used to be, and probably maybe an inch and a half even less, because they're not filling it up like it used to be. And also maybe there's some atrophy of the muscles itself. So that's why doing the shock wave, mainly the focus and also the P shot, which is injecting with your own blood, addresses that issue of muscle atrophy, the fibrous, with the muscle being not as flexible, and also bringing in more blood flow to the tissue area. So it's addressing that, but then along with pumping, it allow the penis to do going to the gym. as well. And I recommend the lasso. I'm a big proponent of the lasso as well too. And so that's good. I didn't know about the big thing where you can add in the scrotum into there as well too for elongation. As well. So you're always learning for sure. And so so type in any questions that you may have, and I can think of the more common question that we get is, why do you get ED? That's a $1 million question, right? I mean, why does ED happen, and why is ED so common? A study that have looked at the incidence of ED, but this study was done in like 2000, 22 years ago.
Wow.
And it predicted about 30 million men at that time in the US have ED, and that's 22 years ago. So we're now, it's going to be more than 30 million men with ED, and then with COVID, I'm almost predicting probably even double that amount as well. That's why ED is very common. If you're 50 years old, 50% of men have ED, and if you're 40% of men have ED. And the same goes to be 60% if you're 60 years old, and 70% if you're 70 years old. Why is ED so common?
It doesn't have to be that way, though.
No, it doesn't have to be that way. No, you're absolutely right.
With doctors like Anne reversing erectile dysfunction, men can go right into their 80s and even 90s with firm erections with good lifestyle, which of course she's also a big proponent of.
Right. Yeah. It's actually, there's a question here. Should I do anything? Should I do anything else while pump? Or should I do anything else while pump, like trying to constrict the muscle? No, I think that pumping is good. And if you can use the constrictor ring, like the lasso, to hold the blood in there as well, that is good as well. And I also tell men, if you can add the lasso and then hold the blood in there, you can, use it for intimacy as well too. So that's a good question there.
I'd like to add something to that.
Sure.
When you're pumping, you can do Kegels.
Oh.
And that's just giving you extra exercise, more blood flow. And there's another product, it's called the Cooch ball or the Gooch ball, just a small ball. Like, how when you can roll a tennis ball on your back muscles, or you use a foam roller on your muscles. The Gooch ball is a small ball that you roll on, you sit on it and roll on it. That's very good before pumping because it gets pelvic blood flow going. I also recommend taking nitric oxide before you pump. 20 minutes before you pump, take flow. And that will increase how much blood you can get into your penis. So you can do Kegels, you can do the Cooch ball or Gooch ball beforehand, you can take flow. A lot of men also add jelqing, and I do not recommend twisting or wringing or pulling of the penis. You have to be careful with the tunica albuginea, which is the tissue that holds the erectile tissue in. It's kind of this hard fibrous covering. And you do not want to rip or tear that, which is why it's also very important to keep your vacuum at the level of the protocols in the pumping guide, because you guys, you're like, I can take it, I can do more, but you do more. And then you give yourself a hematoma on the actual penile skin, or you pull on the tunica albuginea, which could lead to peyronie's later. So, these systems, these pumps are medical grade, FDA Class 2 devices, and they can go very high in vacuum pressure, but you have to build yourself up to that. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's like making a stew. If you boil the stew, the meat gets tough. It's the same with pumping. If you go slow and keep it on low, you get more results than if you try to like manipulate and push it hard. That can backfire on you. So just be very careful with this. This is not a toy. Although what you buy in adult stores are Chinese novelty items. What you see on Amazon, Chinese novelty items. You don't want them. They don't have good gauges. They're not made of the polyacrylic. You drop them, they break. They don't have good release valves. Sometimes you need to release quickly for one reason or another. You've got to be able to do that. So, and in this particular system, as you grow, if you are trying for enlargement, you don't have to replace the hand pump. You can just get new cylinders. There's even a head cylinder, a head enlarger that there's a lot of guys that have a fairly thick penile shaft, but they've got a tiny little head and they want to make their head bigger so it's more proportionate with the overall penis. And so there are different pieces that you can add to the pumping system that kind of allow you to sculpt the penis that you want. And you might think about that as like, oh my God, why would I do that? But there are a lot of men out there, especially interestingly enough in the bodybuilding community, because they understand how they can create the body that they want. And they're like, I want the penis that I want too. And so, women get breast augmentation all the time, and they've got these giant fake boobs and they're happy with it because it makes them happy and they want big boobs. Breast implants are very dangerous. The silicone is bad for you. There's a lot of explantation surgery happening now. They leak, they give women autoimmune diseases. Men don't have to do that because the breast is different type of tissue than the penis. The penis takes to pumping really well. It's just like Dr. Ann said, it's just like going to the gym. And so you're very lucky you don't have to have surgery to make your penis bigger, firmer, harder, veinier, last longer. Your erections will be better, and also your orgasms, because as you age and as you atrophy, you're also losing orgasmic sensation. You might be having delayed ejaculation. You might be having sensation loss. And all of these things can be reversed with these regenerative therapies, which pumping, PRP, and the shockwave technologies, they all are regenerative therapies that are synergistic and work really well together. So you can have what you want as long as you're alive. As
long as you know what to do, as long as you know what to do and do it correctly, and not try to go down the straight path of what people are trying to tell you on the internet. Now, there's a question here.
I see it.
What level of erection? Yeah. So I mean, I normally say, that to pump it up around 75 percentile and then go slow and don't try to push it, too much. The pump that they have is actually an electric pump. He had an electric pump that doesn't have the gauge on there, but the pressure on that electric pump is not it's not going to go over more than 10 millimeter of mercury, which is what we recommend, that you don't go over 10 millimeter of mercury. So that pump is going to stop at around 8 millimeter of mercury. So you go up, as much as, around 75 to 80%, and just go slow. So what would you recommend?
Oh, I'm not going to answer for any pump other than the one that I know and recommend, because I only talk about the things I know.
Right. And so there's a question there. What timeline should I expect for regeneration? That's a good question. So it depends on what type of treatment you're getting, if you're doing it as with the PRP, the P shot and the shockwave, and the pumping and taking the supplement, along with the lifestyle recommendation that I recommend with my protocol treatment, you just start seeing that around 6 weeks to 3 months. Again, every man is different, where every man is individualized. It depends on what your medical conditions are that you have when you do seek the treatment. if you have high blood pressure, if you have high cholesterol, you have diabetes,
Yeah.
and if you are, overweight and you smoke or you drink a lot of alcohol, all of that, contribute to the severity of the problem. And so, like, you didn't get ED overnight. You didn't get ED, you didn't get ED over months. You got ED over probably years until you start seeking treatment. And most of the time when I see patients, because they fail Viagra or Cialis, and by that time it's been sometime 5 years to a decade. And so to reverse the damage that's been done over a decade, it's going to take time. No, you're not going to take a whole decade to get there, but it takes your body time to lay down the foundation, take your body time to lay down the cell to restore the more blood flow. It takes your body time to get rid of the dead cells and put in new cells to rebuild. And it's like building a house, it doesn't occur overnight. Sometimes you see that in 6 weeks, sometimes you see that around 3 months and around 4 months. And so it all depends on how your body get rid of dead cells, lay down new cells, and then as the new cells are laid down, it start to lay the foundation, and it start to get bigger, and then it start to build new function. So that takes around, 6 weeks to 3 months, kind of like getting surgery. When you get surgery, the scar, the cut that you have, it takes about 6 weeks for it to kind of get healed together, but it's still not quite strong enough. 3 months it takes for that incision to be strong enough in order for you to have full return of function. And the same way with the penis muscle, it takes 6 weeks to 3 months. And some of my patients, will get a treatment and, 1 or 2 weeks later and say, well, I'm not seeing any improvement. I say, well, you have to have your body start healing. Your body has to heal. It has to get rid of the bad tissue and start, having the new tissue do its work. And it does take time. So be patient. And do the work, it will come. But I want to add on there too, that once you are performing and it's working well, you still need to maintain. You can't go back to what you were doing before that caused you to have ED in the first place. It's like losing weight, you work hard to lose the weight, and then once you lose the weight, you can't go back to eating cake and candy, because you're going to gain the weight again. Same thing for ED. Once you start getting result and performance with the treatment, you still have to maintain it, and you have to maintain it with your lifestyle. I'm big on advocating the right diet. As you can see in the picture I showed earlier, diet affects your nitrous oxide production. So a poor diet will decrease your nitrous oxide. So I'm big on you being on a healthy diet, such as a Mediterranean diet, and exercise. Even just walking 3 times a week. But the best is doing high interval intensity exercise, about 3 hours in a week. So not a lot of time. Or even going to the gym and working out in the gym, because when you build more muscle, you build more testosterone. And when you build more testosterone hormone, which is also good, contributing to the erection as well. And of course, stop smoking if you are smoking, because smoking actually does a lot of bad stuff, but it decreases nitrous oxide and decreases it damage the blood vessel, which is the endothelial lining. And sleep is important, at least 7 hours of sleep, because as I was talking to earlier, when you sleep, your body heals. And when you have good REM sleep, your body heals, and it starts to kind of make more hormone. That's why you start getting nighttime erection or morning erection. Your hormone, your testosterone hormone, is the highest in the morning between 6 to 8 a.m. And so I see a question here. it's helpful to see at least some result in order to stick with the program, just like dieting. If you do the work and don't see the results, hard to stick with it. I get you. I get you.
You'll
And
see
that's
results.
when, yeah, you will see result.
Yeah.
Just you will see result. You will see result. And just you will see result, and that's why we have you do several treatment, and can always contact my office if you have any questions with that. But you will see result. But you got to do the work. You got to do the work. It's just not and do all the work, all the steps. Okay. So Susan,
I have a funny
what other
story.
comments do you have? Yes, I'd love to hear your story.
It was funny. After I recovered from my long haul COVID, I was really in bad shape. I had a lot of balance issues. I was very weak. I had muscle loss. I'd put on
Oh, I'm
fat.
sorry about that.
I was super sick. And I got better, and I said, okay, I'm going to hire a trainer, and I'm going to have to start small. I'm going to have to start with my balance. I'm going to start with my flexibility again, because I was laying in bed for over a year. And I remember I hired him to come to my house every single day, because I wasn't doing that hard of work. It wasn't like I needed a ton of recovery, but I had him come every day. And I remember about 9.5 weeks into it, I said, I cannot believe how much different I look. I mean, I never would have imagined we could have made this much progress in this short a time. And he goes, yeah, babe, that's why they call them 12-week transformations. It takes 12 weeks to really do any program and see the big benefits of it. So I think that that's a very important thing to know, is that it takes your body some time to begin the repair processes and to build the new tissue and to see the results. But know that it's going to work. Know that these things have worked for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of men. I mean, the pump that I recommend, the Whopper, that company was 30 years old last year. They've been helping people reverse ED and enlarge their penises and regain their sensitivity and all kinds of things for 30 years. The problem is that it hasn't been something that people have talked a lot about. Men don't talk about their sexual health with each other. We have difficulty advertising or posting anything about this online because people think there's something weird about it. All it is self-care. All it is anti-aging and longevity. That's what it is. It's called sexual regenerative treatments, because you're literally turning back the clock on aging. And when you do that, you keep aging. So you have to stay with, it's not like, oh, I've got wrinkles, I'll put cream on my face one night. It's okay, I need to have a skincare regimen now. These are the things that you have to do as you age. So you will hit plateaus, and then you will have breakthroughs. This is how the body works. And I just really want to encourage you, if you're thinking about doing any or all of these things, the more of them you can afford to do, the more synergistic and more accelerated your gains and results will be. But even things as simple as pumping. Pumping is like the ghetto style, super budget way to get started reversing the atrophy. If you can afford the shockwave, do it. It's fantastic. If you can afford to add PRP onto it, that's the cherry on the sundae. Do it. It's an accelerator, a turbo booster to your healing, because it's concentrated healing factors and growth factors from your own body injected directly into the tissue that's growing and healing. And because it's all erectile, it soaks it up like a sponge. It stays there, and it helps everything else that you're doing. So I just really want to encourage you that these things work. Men all over the world are doing them, and you couldn't be in better hands than with Dr. Truong.
Well, thank you about that, and I know that you understand that as well, and I've always advocated that it's just not the treatment alone.
Right.
It's a whole comprehensive protocol that well, we're a team. When I'm working with my patient, we're a
Yeah.
team. I'm your guide, but you have to do the work. Like you said, when you had to get back into shape again, you do the work. You had a trainer, but he
I
was
did the
just
work.
showing you what to do, but you were doing
Mhm.
all the hard work and the persistent and the determination to get there.
Yeah.
And with my patient, we're a team together, and we're
Yeah, it's a
working
journey.
together. It is a journey.
Back to health.
Yes, it's a journey back to health, and it is possible. I actually took a picture of one of my patients. He's 77 years old.
Great.
And he has a testosterone level, this without any intervention from me. His testosterone level is about 770.
Great.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
good.
scale of 300 to 900. So
Mhm.
he's on the top, 20th percentile, the top 20th percentile. And I'm not even giving him any additional stuff or anything at all. He's 77. He, everything is
great.
working well. He has a girlfriend. But
Good.
the thing is, he able to maintain that high testosterone level because he
Mhm.
eats well. He walk every day. He has a good mindset. He doesn't smoke, and he can have a glass of wine, here and there, but not taking excessive alcohol. A simple thing such as that, it can be done. It's not like he has good genetics or anything. He, just kind of do those simple things. So that is a metric that I know that you and I want to credit, that it's possible to have sex to the day you die.
Absolutely.
Right?
Great sex. You get better at sex the older you get. You have more experience, more mastery, more ability to slow down and enjoy the pleasure. So sex is a lifelong gift that keeps on giving. And women are out there who want to have great experiences at all ages. And they're looking for partners who are in great shape and want to have a great sex life. They are out there in droves. If you don't think so, it's a limiting belief. So I really encourage you to take good care of yourself so that you can give all the love in your heart that you have and all the sexiness that you want to co-create to someone, because they are there. Anne, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to have to dash now. I would like to tell everyone how to find me, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Great. I have a newsletter, a sex tips newsletter. You can go to Personal Life Media. Friends, will you put these in? Personallifemedia.com. I also am on Instagram with my name, which is at Susan Bratton. And I am also on OnlyFans. I have an OnlyFans fan site where I post more, I would say, more tips and techniques that I can post on Instagram. Instagram's very strict about what I can post. But one of the things that I didn't get a chance to talk about today, but that's just on fire right now, are my yoni massage tips. That's how to touch a woman's genitals and what all the parts are and how all the parts like to be touched, so that you can fill her erectile tissue up with blood so she gets a clitoral erection, just like you need a penile erection to feel the most pleasure possible from the stimulation that you get. So that's at onlyfans.com/Susan Bratton. And you're welcome to join me over there as well. It's a free membership. Some things are paid, but there's a lot of free content in there. And I look forward to connecting with anyone who wants to reach out to me. You can slide into my DMs on OnlyFans and connect with me there. Thank you so much, Anne, for having me. Thanks, Val. Thanks, friends. Thanks, Tom, for the great questions. And all the best to everyone. Have a great day. Much love.
Take
to penis
care.
power.
All right. Thanks for being here, everyone. Make sure you follow Susan as well. And so with that, we are closing today Q&A. Don't forget, I want to add on here, don't forget that the brain is the largest sexual organ. All right. And don't put too much pressure on yourself because you got to start with here first. And having said that, I want to put down, can you put down my my membership? If you haven't, if you're not already on my Modern Man membership, where I coach my my members on how to restore sexual performance again. In fact, if you are my patient, you get it for 1 month for complimentary, and then thereafter, like I said, that's how we maintain maintenance continuation, and be patient. You will get result. You don't get result, contact our office and we will make it happen. And on the link down below is the site to join my membership at menssexualityclub.com slash sales page to join the club. I hope to see you there. Thank you for your time today. Take care. All right. All right, Franz. Are we